Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative is speaking to Joshua Colley about Sex Appeal, which is available now on Hulu. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
It's exciting. I mean, the film's out. I mean, you know, you have some pretty funny scenes in this film. I mean, what's it like that it's like out now? Like you go, you shoot it for a day and now it's out. Like it's pretty crazy and weird a bit, right?
It is. It really is. Honestly, like I was super excited to see the film because I really didn't know much about it besides reading the script because I was only there basically the first day of filming. So I filmed it and it was my first movie I've ever done. So I was super excited to be there. And when it finally came out, I had to wait so long. And then I kept seeing like little sneak peeks here and there. And then it finally came out and it was so cool to see this entire piece of work that everybody had worked so hard to put together. So yeah, it was very gratifying to finally see myself, you know, on the big screen or the small screen in this.
Are you starting to get used to like the landscape of you go in, you work on something, you wrap, and then there's kind of the waiting game a little bit of like, when is it going to come out? Like you started to get used to that?
I very much am, yeah. I really am. I've just done a couple projects after that, and I'm working on one right now too. And yeah, it's very, very much a waiting game. Like it's crazy. You wouldn't think it would be that long, or maybe you would, but it's so much fun in the moment.
Yeah.
And you create such a family with these people, especially on this other project I did senior year. Like I was on that for a much longer period of time. So you create this family and it's so interesting you basically have to say goodbye, but then it's like, when the movie finally comes out, you all get back together. You know what I mean? You get to see them all again, and it's super fun. It's super fun. But yeah, it definitely is a waiting game. So any glimmer I get to see here and there before it comes out is really, really exciting.
You're doing some acting now, but it's safe to say that one of your first loves was musical theater, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I'm definitely a Broadway boy. I started out in the theater. My parents are from theater. Yeah, that's definitely where my heart is and was when I was younger. I still love theater, but I'm starting to get into this more film and television realm, which I'm really, really excited to explore. But I'm always going to be down to do a show here and there, or you know, whatever, sing a song.
I have kind of a multiple choice A, B, or C kind of question for you right now. Mm-hmm. Is it A, people that like do musical theater end up going and like working on films and TV? Or is it B, the other way around, TV, and then maybe they go to musical theater? Or is it C, a little bit of both?
Yeah, so well basically I feel like it's starting now to where the line is very blurred. So,
yeah.
You know, actors from your favorite TV show will go and they'll do a run on Broadway, or my favorite Broadway performers, I see them on the screen all the time, which I think is really great because, you know, a lot of the time there's kind of this like stigma around musical theater actors. Mm-hmm. Like there's really that much of a difference. Obviously they're different mediums, but sometimes people think it's that musical theater people can't translate onto film and television, which is not the case at all. And in fact, I think they're perfect for film and television. I think the fact that I'm starting to see a lot more musical, quote unquote, musical theater people on film and TV working alongside me in things, it's super, super exciting. Yeah, but definitely, yeah, I always am encouraging my friends who don't really know very much about Broadway. Like when I'm on set with them, I'm like, you would be so good on Broadway. Like you should definitely give it a try because it's super, super fun.
When I was in high school, I was on the stage crew. So I was doing the spotlight, the follow spot operator, yes. And I was doing the lights and behind. The rush though, like of opening night or like the night of a show, it's one of the best feelings. Like 4 or 5 hours before, right? Isn't it?
It really is. There's nothing like it. That's why I always love Broadway, and I'll be down to go do it anytime because truly nothing gives me the adrenaline rush like getting on stage and when you have butterflies and having that live reaction from an audience is so.
And maybe it was a bit different for me because I wasn't like on camera, right? Like I was behind and everything. But even a lot of like the actors and performers, they were all excited. I mean, I know there's a lot of nerves too, but like there was just a rush, like, the
It
day
really
of, like
is.
you show up, there's this rush and excitement, right?
Absolutely. There's this palpable energy in the air when you're in a theater, you know what I mean? Putting on a performance for these people that are just as excited as you are. And so that energy is always what I look for. That's where I get a high from. That's where I get my adrenaline from.
Whether it's on Broadway or whether it's TV or film, there's always going to be learning experiences. I want to know about some of your learning experiences working on Broadway, the theater stuff, and then kind of looking at like sex appeal and senior year, some like TV, film. What's been some learning experiences for you so far, Joshua?
Yeah, some of the things I've learned is obviously with theater, there's not very much room for, there's not too much room for, improv and like, really like making the character your own, you know what I mean? Because basically with a movie or TV, you're immortalized as that character forever. And this piece of work that you put out is going to be able to be seen forever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you're in the moment, and which is so exciting for me because I have always been one to, start improvising and start just adding things of my own, which luckily the people I've worked with have been very receptive towards that and very welcoming of that. So that's what I love most. And that's what I've learned about it is when you're in a scene, it can really go any way, truly, with the productions that I've been on anyway. You have the script and you have the concrete places of where it could go, but especially on senior year when I worked with Rebel Wilson, she just goes off. She'll start improvising and you just have to be right there with her. You know what I mean? So I've definitely learned a lot, especially from actors like her and, directors like Talia from Sex Appeal. They're also very welcoming and collaborative with ideas, which is it's a lot like that on Broadway, but it's definitely a different medium.
Yep.
So I've learned a lot from just watching them and watching my co-stars, and it's really exciting. I've learned a lot from both mediums, but I've definitely learned a lot more with these movies that I've done
Absolutely.
in a long time.
No, for sure. I mean, Sex Appeal is all. I'm not going to go into super big spoilers. I do have some things I want to kind of ask you and talk about this film because I really enjoyed the film, and there's two things I kind of enjoyed about it as well. You look at kind of the relationship with Avery and Larson, or like kind of like they're friends, and then the whole people know the whole story and like the premise, but. Like I feel like a lot of people, Joshua, have been doing in the pandemic. The characters are doing a lot of self-reflection in this movie, especially Larson, played by Jake Short. He's kind of like thinking about what's his next move. He's kind of thrown in a very complicated situation with Avery and her experiment, and he's just doing a lot of self-reflection.
Yes.
What do you kind of think about that a little bit? And I feel like a lot of movies kind of need that and should have that kind of characters going through a lot of these kind of test in the water situations a little bit.
Absolutely. I just recently watched the movie along with everybody else. I hadn't seen, everybody's performances or anything. Obviously, I read the script, but it's so different when you're finally watching it. And I feel like the movie is very, very relatable for people my age, high school age, and I think it's incredibly relatable. A lot of the things that they're going through are incredibly awkward. You know what I mean? There's so many instances where maybe you're even like cringing because you're like, that is so awkward, but it's real. You know what I mean? It's what a lot of people go through, and it's a very real story told through a comedic lens. You know what I mean? So, I think that's what I took away from it. It was incredibly relatable to me, because you don't always know what to do in these kind of situations, you know what I mean, and the situations that Avery and Larson are in. And maybe you're watching the movie and you're like I wouldn't do what he's doing, or I wouldn't do what she's doing, or you would be like, I would do exactly that.
Relatable,
you really don't
for sure.
know, you know what I mean? I loved how relatable the movie was, and how real and awkward, and it was just exciting to see those kind of things being portrayed on screen.
And you've seen the whole movie, right, beginning to end?
Yes, I have.
So this is a spoiler for my viewers that are watching. I always put in the description. I mean, I love what they did with the ending. The fact that they don't get together. I like that.
Yes.
It's like refreshing because not like you think they're gonna kind of fall to that trap that they're gonna like become a couple, right? But they don't.
Yeah, of course. That's what the audience wants. The audience wants them to end up together. I know I did. I'm like, no, please. But basically, that's real life. You know what I mean? A lot of your high school relationships don't end up working out, and I love that they ended in that way, because it's not even a bad thing. And what I wrote a song for the end of the
You did.
movie.
That was my next question.
Yeah,
Skipping.
so I wrote a song for the end of the movie, and I really looked at the end of the movie and how their relationship ends. And it really is, they were both in love with each other. They really were. And it didn't work out because, you know, it can't always work out. Sometimes they can't give each other what they need, which is one of the lyrics in the song. So, yeah, and I think I think they remain friends at the end, which is nice. But
they do, for sure, but they just don't become a couple, and you feel like it's kind of going down that route, that route a little bit, but they don't. But that was my next question, like the song, that's awesome.
Thank you.
How did that come, like, can you tell me, like, kind of the backstory, like how that came into play a little bit for you?
Yeah, so basically I filmed this movie in Syracuse for one day. It was pretty quick. And then, you know, a couple months later, I get a call from Talia, our director, and she's like, hey, I know you're a singer, and I would love to have some of your music in the movie. And she was like, I'd love for you to look at the end of the movie, and if you have any music that goes with that, please send it my way. And I was like, why don't I just write you a song? So, yeah, it was one of my first experiences really writing with kind of a prompt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I write a lot of music, but obviously it's my own. So it was really cool to finally write something from other people's perspective and bring my own experiences into the lyrics, because again, the whole story is incredibly relatable. So it was pretty easy to draw from my real life to put these lyrics into the song. Yeah, it was super exciting. And I had to I basically wrote it in one day, and I produced it with my friend Ray Goreen, who is so incredible. And yeah, we made this really great song, in my opinion, and I'm super happy with it.
You're obviously focusing on the acting right now, but something like that kind of happens where you're putting together a song for a movie. Does that kind of become one of those things where you're like, hey, I want to do that again, or maybe this is kind of a route that, like, I want to act, but like, it's pretty cool to be able to do that. You could do that again, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I would love the opportunity to do it again. You know, I've always toyed with the idea of, you know, maybe trying to become more of like a recording artist. I love to sing. Obviously, I started out in theater, so that's where a lot of my happiness is from. So yeah, I'm definitely dabbling with that for sure. I'd love to go down that career path. You know, it's all about meeting the right people and just finding the right place and time and writing the right thing. So yeah, you'll definitely be hearing more music from me.
It's so crazy too. I have to say this because I got this interview confirmed with your team and everything, and like, I've seen that video of you and Gaten singing. Like, I've seen that video. Like a lot of people have seen that video. Right?
Yeah.
And like, so you've been doing it for like quite a while right now. You have kind of an opportunity, which is crazy. When did you start singing? Like, how many years has it been that you've been officially singing for?
Well, yeah, honestly, I've been singing my entire life, straight out of the womb, practically, as soon as I can talk, because, you know, my parents do theater, so I've always been around it, and I always put on shows for my mom and dad, which I'm sure a lot of singers do, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been singing my whole life, and I love it. I love it so much, and I would love to release some of my own music pretty soon, because, of course, I have all these videos of me doing these Broadway songs, which I love. I love them so much. So that's why I'm really excited to explore maybe a new medium in the music genre. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It was so great chatting with you. Seriously.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. You're great. This is so much fun.
So the movie's out. Sex Appeal is out right now on Hulu. Is this song available?
The song is not available on streaming platforms, but I did post it on my Instagram, and maybe I will. I've been getting some DMs where they're like, release the song, so maybe I will just put it up on Spotify.
And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Yeah, my Instagram is Joshua Robert Colley. I'm pretty much Joshua Robert Colley on everything, so if you just look up Joshua Colley, you'll find it.
Amazing. That's awesome. No, seriously. Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, so Joshua Colley and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.